So here we go. It's not focused on me at all. Why? Why do you not like me? There it is. Welcome to the kitchen. If you have seen some of my recent videos of organizing my pantry or looking into my freezer for some food, you might notice that I have a lot of things hanging around, and I think it's time to clean out some of what I have by using it up. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going through my fridge, my freezer, my pantry, meal prepping some stuff, cooking up what I have, feeding my family without going to the store. So without further ado, let's kick off the video with the cheesecake. What do you say? Yeah, I thought so. Let's do it. In my mixer, I have 4 full packages of cream cheese and 3 tablespoons of flour. And into that, I will add 1 cup of sugar, the lemon zest I got from my lemon, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. You could use bottled lemon juice, but I'm telling you, the fresh will taste so much better. So I know it's inconvenient, but I think it's worth it. And a half a teaspoon of vanilla. Who am I kidding? I don't measure vanilla, just do whatever looks good. That looks good. Mix until all the way blended. Okay, now we are going to add eggs. I have 3 whole eggs and 1 egg white. I did save the yolk for later. We'll mix these in slowly, one at a time. Now that my crust has cooked for 10 minutes and I have my filling, we're gonna pour all of the filling onto this crust and bake at 325 for another 40 minutes. Now that my cheesecake is cooled, we will mix up our glaze. In here I have the rest of that lemon juice that I squeezed, half a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and I will add to this, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, like that. Simmer this or just heat it on the stovetop until it starts to thicken. And then we're gonna add our remaining egg yolk that I hung on to from earlier, heating it through until the sugar is dissolved and it starts to thicken up. Oh man, I need to get my kids to clean the stove. Now that my cornstarch mixture is really, really hot, I'm going to temper my egg yolk before I dump it in there. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this and slowly mix it in just to heat up my egg yolk a little bit so it doesn't turn into scrambled egg yolk. And you would do this if you were making like ice cream or any kind of custard. You just wanna slowly bring your eggs up to the hot temperature, and then you can dump the whole thing in and it's okay. That's probably good. Okay, now this can get added here without it turning into scrambled eggs. There we go. And put that back on the stove for another minute or so until it gets really thick. Here's my cheesecake out of the fridge, and here's my glaze that I stuck in the fridge. You can see it's kind of thick. And now I will pour this on top. It's still a touch warm, so we're gonna stick the whole thing back in the fridge. Wait till you see what I'm gonna use to spread this out. Hold up. Check it, bought myself an offset spatula.
For all your spatula needs. Spatula City! Spatula City!
So we'll just spread that out all over, refrigerate it for 1 more hour, and we are good to go. The only thing that's frustrating, I think, about cheesecake is that it takes so long to chill. It isn't actually the baking process, it's the waiting until you can eat it, which is why I think it's a good make ahead. So like if you need a cheesecake tomorrow, you need to make it today. Lick that. We'll cut it up in an hour. Cheesecake is done. So now I'm gonna use this foil to get this out of here, slice it up and taste it. Oh, it's dirtying up my knife. I cut off the top of my head. What does it matter when there's cheesecake to be had? Okay. I'll just scooch down like that.
Oh, Mom.
Wow.
Right?
That's cheesecake.
With lemon on top.
With lemon. Dude, that lemon glaze is everything. If you like cheesecake and you like lemon, you need to try that. I think I would cook it a little less, the cheesecake part. I would probably take off 5 minutes. That's solid. Next up, we are going to make a cake, and it does feel a lot like dessert land today, but it's gonna be okay because I have family close by, I can share things. A lot of the times I just like to try a recipe and then hand it off to my neighbors and my friends and my family. So what kicked off this idea was these 2 gross bananas. Hello? For some reason, my kids will not eat these. I had gotten new bananas because I was like, oh, we're down to 2 bananas. And they ate all the new bananas and left these. Now my banana bread recipe calls for 3 bananas. So I have 2 very ripe, very sweet bananas. And then I thought, well, I have this Switch vanilla cake mix in my pantry that I can use. And I also have this, these coconut chips as well. And so I'm like, okay, what if I did this? Slice some banana and like cook them in some brown sugar, added some coconut, put whipped cream on top. I have like a banana, coconut, vanilla, tropical kind of cake situation, right? Right. And before we make this, I do want to give a huge thanks to Thrive Market for sponsoring today's video and for helping me stock up my pantry in the first place. They are a subscription-based online grocery store that if you do the annual membership, which is the one I recommend, it comes out to only $5 a month. And if you decide you don't like it for any reason, they will refund 100% of your money within the first 30 days. So it is truly a risk-free experience. And if you are wondering if they're going to give you a deal today for being one of my viewers, they are. They're going to give you 25% off and a free gift off of your first purchase by going to thrivemarket.com/frugalfitmom. And yes, I do have a link down below in the doobly-doo. Thrive Market is so easy to use. There's an app, you can do it on your computer, and you can sort by diet type. So if you're like keto, paleo, vegetarian, vegan, you can sort by those items. Or if you want to search like baking mixes, pantry mixes, chocolates, candies, meat packages, which is where I have this chicken, or we're going to be making a chicken dish later. They even have a new like frozen foods section that my friend Jen just ordered from. I think I might order the frozen stuff next time. I haven't done that one yet, but I love their products. And I especially love that I can find unique ingredient items that are impossible to find in my small town, which make people who like to cook like me have a lot more fun in the kitchen when I can get those specialty ingredients. So again, if you want to try them out, first link down below, thrivemarket.com/frugalfitmom to get 25% off your first order plus a free gift. Thanks to them for stocking up my pantry, and let's get to this cake right now. Let's make this cake. I'm preheating my oven right now to 350 and I'm just following the directions on the back, no big deal. This is made from almond flour, coconut flour, arrowroot powder, baking soda, vanilla, sea salt, and Switch, 0-calorie plant-based sugar substitute. A combination of erythritol and monk fruit. Okay, so that's what Switch is. So, the whole, smells good. Okay, the whole package right there is going in, plus 3 eggs. Almost just dropped that. You guys can't even see the bowl. Hold up. Hold up. Okay, there you go.
There you go.
3 eggs. Oh my gosh, I got a shell. Dang it. Crisis averted. 1/3 cup of coconut oil, which is, it's warm today, so it's already kind of liquidy. Usually in Idaho, that's hard as a rock. And 1/3 cup of water. Whisk until combined. We're gonna use the good old 9x13 for today. Make sure you grease this.
Just a squeeze of the bottle and poof.
This Switch batter definitely feels a little dry. Okay, I'm wondering if this is too big. Look how thin that is. It says to use an 8-inch cake pan. I think I'm gonna switch this to one of those now that I'm looking at it. If I just paid attention to the instructions in the first place, it would have been fine.
Hold the bottle upright and you get this fine, misty spray.
There we go. Bake for 30 to 35 minutes. Here's my vanilla cake. We're gonna try and like do some kind of present-y situation. I don't know how that's gonna go. I mean, I may not even be able to get this out of here. Come on. It's not looking good. Come on, cake. It doesn't wanna. Please? Okay, that's not gonna work. New plan. New plan, we're gonna decorate it right in here. That's what we're gonna do. So I have my cake, we'll just set that to the side because I can't get it out of that pan. And I'm gonna take my bananas and slice them. In fact, I think I can only do one. That's a lot smaller cake than I thought. We'll do one. It'll be good. It'll be just fine. Do you guys like those? I hate those things. And I wanna do semi-thin. Now that is a ripe banana, holy smokes. Now we'll put it on that. I was thinking I'd lay it out all pretty, but I don't really do pretty.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty.
You're not gonna see it because it's gonna be covered in whipped cream. This is kind of a banana pudding inspired cake topping. I cannot taste this one for you guys because I have a banana allergy. And I can't eat raw bananas. I can eat cooked bananas, but not raw ones. So this is not one I can taste test for you. It almost looks like I could do the other one, but maybe less is more. Next up is the coconut. And I believe this is not sweetened. And we're not gonna use a ton here, just a little sprinkle, a little bit like this, just to make it interesting. And then the piece de resistance. Ready? Spray whipped cream in a can, yes! Okay, it is open, but that's not, okay, I don't know. Who knows what's going on in my house? Shake it real good! Shake it real good! You could make your own homemade whipped cream, but store-bought's fine. Oh, and this one's even sugar-free, I didn't realize that. Oh, yes. I don't think that's how you're supposed to use that, but whatever. It's gonna be fine. There it is, my banana coconut cake. So let's cut a slice of that and have maybe Andrew taste it. See how it turned out. I'm gonna have you try this cake that I can't taste.
It's a lot going on at once.
It's a lot, like in a bad way or in a good way?
In a good way.
Oh, okay, good. So apparently it's a win. And I'm gonna put some saran wrap on top and store it in the fridge. Since I still have one more banana from my cake, I decided to look in the freezer and look what I found. 5 frozen bananas. So these are out to thaw, and I'm gonna add this one to here, and I can make 2 batches of my banana bread, or I could do banana muffins. So I'm just gonna let these thaw. We'll come back to these tonight or tomorrow, depending on like how far I get along today, but banana bread / muffins definitely on the agenda for later. Next up is some meal prep via the Kodiak Cakes muffins. These are the blueberry lemon. These are my favorite ones. I've tried, I think, all the flavors of the Kodiak Cake muffins. The blueberry lemon is my favorite one. I feel like there's a lemon theme here today between the cheesecake and the muffins. But these are really good, and I love to pre-make muffins for just breakfast meal prep for the next day, because who's got time in the morning to cook muffins and then wait for them to bake and then wait for them to cool off in the morning when I could be sleeping in? Not this girl. I am doing nothing special to these. I am just cooking them as it states on the back of the box. All right, the back of the box says 2 eggs, 1 cup of milk, 1/3 cup of oil or butter. 1 cup of milk, 2 eggs. Please no shell, please no shell. And I'm gonna use my coconut oil again here, 1/3 cup of coconut oil, because it's sitting there and I feel like it needs to be used. It's a lot of coconut oil. Whisk it up right nice. I'm going to meal prep some pasta. I'm gonna cook up some ground beef that's in my freezer with some seasonings, this pasta, this delicious sauce, mix it all together, and we can either do it for lunch tomorrow, or I can meal prep it out for Dave to take for lunches or for the kids to have for lunches during the week. I'm not really sure how we're gonna go yet, but I'm definitely gonna get a pot of water boiling. and brown up my meat. In my little saute pan, I have not quite a pound of ground beef. I think it's 10 ounces. And I had an onion and some garlic in my fridge that I wanted to use up. So I'm just gonna mush this up and cook all these together until the meat's cooked all the way through. Then I will add my Rayo's pasta sauce, which honestly is probably one of the best pasta sauces I have ever tried. It's really hard to do with my left hand because I'm right-handed. My right hand's on the camera. Hashtag YouTuber problems. I also added a hefty amount of Italian seasoning and a few more crushed red pepper flakes. And I know this says that it's spicy, but I've tried one of these and it was not that spicy. So I'm gonna add a little bit extra because I like it extra.
You got me high, but I'm sober. You make me lonely when I'm by myself. I should be free, but I'm hoping that we could be something in the end, something more than friends.
As it turns out, as I'm finishing stirring up this pasta, everybody wants to eat it now. So it looks like this was not a meal prep. This was a cooking snack prep. So here it is. And everyone is gonna come dig into this right now, and then it will be gone. I'm gonna mix up my sister-in-law Emily's bread recipe. It's one of my favorites, and I will leave this recipe down below. It does make 4 loaves, which is why I have my Bosch mixer out right now. So I'm gonna start with 5 cups of hot water. If it's too hot, it's gonna kill your yeast. So if you stick your finger in there, and you can leave it in there because it feels really warm, but it's not burning you, that's the right temperature. Next up is a half a cup of sugar to give the yeast something to munch on, and 4 tablespoons or a quarter cup of yeast. I have, I think active dry yeast. I can't remember. I might have instant yeast. It doesn't really matter. Just kind of let this sit for 5 to 10 minutes until it gets all bubbly and yeasty smelling. Okay, it looks like I got a little distracted and I walked away for too long. This is very, very bubbly, but this is kind of what you're looking for. All right, next up, we're gonna throw in about 5 cups of flour. We are gonna need more flour than that, but I like to start with maybe half of what the recipe calls for. And I am using this King Arthur bread flour today. And honestly, the measurements are not super precise because we're just gonna see what it looks like more than anything. 5-ish. 4 teaspoons of salt. I know that sounds like a ton, but remember, this is 4 loaves of bread. And a quarter cup of oil or butter or whatever. This is coconut oil right here. And start mixing. Okay, we are about there. You see how it has cleaned the sides of the bowl? Oh, you can't hear me probably. I did about 10.5 maybe cups of flour here. So we're gonna take this out and put it in a greased mixing bowl. I have a 13 quart mixing bowl that I like to put this in, and it's gonna do its first rise. So I know it's gonna feel too sticky. The first time I showed my mom this method, she was like, this dough's too sticky, it's not gonna work. And I was like, Mom, trust me, it'll work. Because it just has a different texture when you make it in a mixer like this. I think it's probably gonna come across as a little sticky, plus I have gloves on, but let's get this out of here. So I just have some vegetable oil in this. We're just gonna dump all of this. Ooh, the head. Okay. Look like a monster hand. Oh my gosh, I look like an alien. I don't usually wear gloves when I do this, but I've washed my hands like a million times today and I'm kind of tired of it. So I thought this would save me from washing my hands, and as I think about it, maybe that was not worth it. Now that it's usually not that sticky when I don't have gloves on. Now that it's in there, I just want to roll it over once, like something like that, so it's all coated in the oil. And now we will put a clean kitchen towel over this one, and let it rise for, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, depending on how warm your kitchen is. So see you guys in a bit. Dave came in here and told me the worst dad jokes I've ever heard. And listen, I like me some puns. These were bad. He was wheezing, he was laughing so hard. And I'm like, wow, it's not even funny. What's funny was his reaction to how funny he thought it was. Have you ever heard someone tell a joke and you're like, wow, let's just stop right now. You gotta taste it before you give it to your family. I'm about out of time for today. And I still have a few more things that I wanted to make, so I'll give this video a little pause. I'm gonna eat a few more slices of bread, and we'll pick it back up tomorrow. It's a new dawn, it's a new day.
It's a new light.
And it's time for the banana bread. So I have my bananas that have thawed. My Bosch mixer is clean and ready to go one more time. And I have enough bananas to make 2 loaves of banana bread. I have an entire dedicated video on this, which I'll leave down below for you. But we're gonna start the same way you make cookies, which is to cream butter and sugar together because it's amazing. And as I was getting ready to do this, I realized this is the last butter I have. I don't have any more butter. And I did put it on my next like bulk shop list, like the big shopping list, like, oh, I'm gonna go to Sam's Club and get all the things. And then in the last week, I just convinced myself every day that I didn't need to go. And here we are, I have no butter. Which means the second cheesecake I was gonna make is now up for grabs. As in, I may not be able to make it because I don't have any butter. So I might text a friend. You know, do you guys watch that show? What was that? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Phone a friend to save your life, right? I'm gonna have to phone a friend.
Can I phone a friend?
Phone a friend to save the cheesecake. 2 loaves here. This is not a diet bread. This is just the most amazing banana bread you will ever try in your life. I realize that's a bold statement, but I'm very confident about this recipe. So I have 2 sticks of butter in here, 2 cups of just plain white sugar. Oh yeah. And cream until nice and fluffy and delicious. It's done mixing and it is beautiful and fluffy and delicious, to which I will add 4 eggs. And every time I've done a double-handed crack, the last couple days, I've cracked a shell in there. Please no shell. Please no shell. How'd I do? No shell. Those are gonna go in my compost pile, right up there, out of the camera's frame. You might think that when people do cooking videos, their kitchen is always clean, when in reality, it's the magic of television because all the mess is out of the frame. That's why I change my camera angles depending on which part of the room is messy. Oh, vanilla. Yeah, don't bother measuring your vanilla. No need for that business. Just put it in until it looks good. And until it tastes good. I learned this banana bread recipe in college. Back when I had like the saddest little hand mixer known to man. I called him the Cyclops because he only had 1 beater. Not that I lost a beater, it was made for only 1 beater. But I was able to whip up a batch of this banana bread with literally like 5 minutes of hands-on time and then an hour in the oven. My roommates were like, "You are such an amazing cook." And I was like, "Thank you." So now you too can make this banana bread, share it with your friends, and then they will also be impressed with you. Next up is some flour. I have never made this recipe with flour alternative, so I'm not sure how that would work. I would imagine it would be a little more dry, so perhaps less flour. But the standard recipe calls for 4 cups of flour, so we'll add that in right now. 1 teaspoon of salt. There we go. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And I usually make 2 loaves at a time instead of 1 because I figure if I'm gonna make a mess and go for it anyway, I mean, I have 6 people that I'm feeding in my family and a lot of hungry teenagers right now. I figure just like make it, like go big or go home, right? If I'm gonna make 1, might as well make 2. If I'm gonna make 2, might as well make 4. Where does it end? I don't know. Okay, that just stirs for a minute, and then all of your nanas. Now, if they're super, super soft, so this is my ripe one and then the rest were previously frozen. If they're really soft, you don't have to pre-mash them. Your beaters will kind of mush them up for you anyway. So I kind of don't really do that anymore. I just throw it in. So this recipe does call for 6 bananas, and the pre-frozen ones really turn into like banana juice almost. So you just kind of squeeze them. They look a little weird. Squeeze them out of their skins right in there. And we'll mix one last time before they go in the bread pans. I do have a compost in my backyard, so I'm putting all of my, what do you call it? Biodegradable, like food waste in this bowl. I usually have a bowl out every day, and then I have the kids go dump it outside. This stuff's not just going in the trash, you know? Blech. Okay, let's mix this until it is all combined. Now here comes the controversial part of the bread. To add chocolate chips or not. To add nuts or not. I typically don't add nuts to mine because my youngest son Ryan really hates the texture of nuts in stuff. So I tend to leave them out unless they are pureed really, really small. As far as adding chocolate chips, I personally, in my opinion, feels like it takes away from the sweetness of the banana bread. But I did have a couple of people ask me to add some chocolate chips today. So I think what I'm gonna do is do 1 loaf sans chocolate chips and 1 loaf with a couple chocolate chips. So we'll put 1 loaf in, add the chocolate chips, stir it a little bit, and then do the second loaf. I am using my long, skinny bread pans. I find that they cook more evenly because they're narrower this way, but they do hold the same amount as a standard bread pan. Don't think that it's like an extra large loaf. It isn't, it's just skinnier and longer.
Squeeze the bottle and poof.
But honestly, I much prefer these to the standard bread pans when you make regular bread also. You know, when you're making sandwiches out of them, they fit in the sandwich baggies better. I just like it. So let's do 1. Ooh. There's 1, the plain one. And now we'll add a few ingredients to the fancy one. These are some pureed almonds. So I will put nuts in one of these. And maybe Ryan won't notice because they're super, super small. So we have nuts and chocolate chips in one of the loaves, and we're gonna see which one my family prefers. And hey, I got a couple of extra baggies out of my pantry, which is the whole point of today, or the last 2 days, I guess. Okay, I think I measured it unevenly. So if I put a dollop in the other one, like in the corner, will that be okay? I think so. Ugh. Okay. Andrew, just go.
You started talking and I was in a shot.
Just get out of the shot. Okay. Here are my 2 loaves of banana bread into a 350-degree oven for about 45 to 60 minutes, depending on your oven. Here we go.
Don't force me out of bed in your society. Don't push me down the road you're playing down. Don't try to fix my head, it's just your anxiety.
Okay, the bread has been out of the oven for approximately 10 minutes. And this is why I make 2 loaves. I can't meal prep if I just do 1 because then they demolish it. And the consensus is the chocolate chip is the way to go. I will still make a bold statement that I prefer the standard. I feel like the chocolate chip makes the bread taste like chocolate chip bread instead of the banana bread. So it is delicious on its own, but the majority of my family, like 5 out of 6, prefers the chocolate chips. And Ryan did not notice the pureed almonds. I was able to sneak those in and he didn't even notice they were there. So that's a great use of maybe some nuts that you have in your pantry that you want to use up before they go rancid, or you stick them in your freezer. I should really check with my friend to see if she has butter so I can finish up this last cheesecake, because I have a feeling it's gonna be amazing and it's gonna clear out some really important freezer space in my garage freezer. So let me just text my friend and see how we go. Cheesecake is up in the air at the moment. I am going to meal prep this spatchcock chicken, which from what I understand, basically means the backbone has been taken out so it can lay flat, which means it's the perfect chicken to grill on your outside grill, so you don't have to heat up your kitchen. So I want to cook this up via Martha Stewart style a little bit. So we're gonna set that to the side and we're gonna make the marinade, I guess, for the chicken. It's gonna sit in the fridge for half the day or so. And I don't have all fresh herbs, so we'll use some dried herbs and it'll be fine. To start off, I have 1 onion just in my fridge, and all this is gonna go in my food processor, so I don't have to chop this up or anything. I'm just gonna throw it in like so. And we're gonna do the zest of 1 lemon. And it did say to peel it with a peeler, so it's like this big strip. So let's do that. A whole lemon maybe? Maybe whole lemon. Let's take off some big chunks off of this lemon here. There goes my lemon. And I'm gonna use this garlic paste because it's easy. And I don't think I have fresh garlic right now, but this would be the perfect application for fresh garlic because you don't have to do anything to it. You just put it in the food processor. So I'm just gonna do a good couple of globs. And your fresh herbs. So I have this thyme, which I think goes really nicely with chicken. Whole thing in. I have some crushed red pepper flakes, which I personally like for a little bit of zing. I like that. I have some sage right here. I wish I had fresh sage. Do I? No. I used to keep fresh sage all the time, but I don't have any right now. So we're just gonna like put a good amount of that in there. And then I have this seasoning that smells pretty good. I don't know. Came in a meal box kit. It's been in the pantry. We're gonna throw it in there because why not? Cooking doesn't have to be that serious. And a drizzle of olive oil. Then we will puree and rub our puree on our chicken. Because this needs to go back in the refrigerator, I just have a 9x13 pan to keep the chicken in. Here it is. This is the one I got from Thrive Market. So it's the heirloom, slow growth, air chilled, regenerative, hand trimmed. I don't really know what all of that means, but it sounds really good. What I can tell you is that the chicken itself actually looks like a regular sized chicken instead of like the chickens with the huge breasts on the one side, right? So it feels like it's a healthier chicken. There we go, there's our chicken. And when you deal with your food processor, quick tip, take the blade out. Instead of digging in there with your fingers with that blade in there. I had a bad experience. Martha says to definitely put some of this rub up under the skin, right where the breasts are. So let's get in there and kind of open up those cavities a little bit. Come on, chicken. There's a big chunk of fat right there. I don't think I need that. There we go. It smells really, really good. So I'm gonna shove some of that up in there and then rub the rest of the chicken with the puree. And it's gonna sit in the fridge for about 6 to 8 hours. So you definitely wanna do this earlier in the day. So we'll just rub that all over that. Do we need to put some on the back too? What do you think? Like that. You can see that the backbone's been taken out, so it can lay flat like this on the grill, which is why we're gonna cook it that way. I think summer's the perfect time to grill. You can heat up the outside, you can serve it with a nice salad. In fact, that's what I'm meal prepping. I'm gonna cook up this chicken and then I'm gonna serve it over salad for a nice, refreshing, like summer dinner. Mr. Chicken will see you in 6 hours, and I'm not crying. You're crying. Once it's sat in the refrigerator for a long time, you pull it out and let it sit on the counter for 30 minutes, which I have now done. My grill is on. I'm going to put this glove on one-handed, hold up. And it says to wipe most of this marinade off the outside and season it with salt and pepper, and then we're gonna grill it breast side down for 10 to 15 minutes on like medium-high heat or indirect heat. Flip it over, do 30 more minutes, and then flip it back over one more time until it's cooked to an appropriate temperature. So I'm just gonna put some salt and pepper on this and throw this puppy on the grill.
Looks good.
I know it got a little crispy on the skin, but that's okay because not all my kids eat the skin anyway. The grill was a little hotter than I meant it to be. Man, that leg just pulled off super easy. And the people outside kind of want to taste it. So I thought I would cut a little bit off. This knife is not sharp enough. Let's try this one. Oh, that breast meat looks so good. Although my favorite piece is this wing. I love the wing. Wings are my favorite. Oh, it's so hot, oh my gosh. I'm burning my hands. Thigh's also my favorite. I like the thigh and the wing the best. That's pretty dark to eat that, so I'm gonna pull that off. And we're gonna test out the breast meat today, see what we think. Okay. That might be some of the best chicken I've ever had. I don't know if it's because it came from Dry Market, or if it's because it was grilled, or if it was the marinade. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's really good. Go make that chicken. Like usual, I planned to cook too many things in the amount of time that I had available. I am now out of time and my family wants to go hang out, so I'm gonna go do that. The recipes I used today will be linked down below. And if you wanna try out Thrive Market, don't forget to check out the first link down in the description box to get yourself 25% off and a free gift. I hope you have an amazing day and you're having a great summer, and I'll see you in the next video.